a privilege and a blessing to be with you today. I have been looking forward to this time together. And Tayebwa, you can do Alan, no problem. I am from Uganda. Uganda is in East Africa, neighbors with Kenya and Rwanda and Congo and South Sudan. We have quite a history as a country. We were colonized by the British, and so my English will be mixed up with many things. The way my local language shaped how I would speak the British English. And then, so some of the words you will find weird, but hopefully the Lord will help you to make sense out of what I will be saying. We got our independence in 1962, and we have had several leaders as a country. But one thing that stands out in our country is that for a long time now, we have not had a leader transfer power to another leader in a peaceful way. And so most of our leaders have come in by the power of the gun and have been pushed out by the power of the gun. And even at this moment, it looks like it is the evenings of one of the presidents that we've had since 1986. And so we are praying that we'll have a good transition to, the nation to see a president hand over power to another president. Because around that time, what we always have is bloodshed. And so we're praying for that. If you have any questions about the history of Uganda, I'll be glad to talk to you later. And I will just share my testimony and how we came to Nasana Bible Church. I was born in 1985, and so I am a great-grandkid to some of you. I am a grandchild to some of you, and I am a son and a brother to some of you. When I was born, my father, I found my father working with the Anglican Church as a priest. And so there was a huge move of the Lord in the 1920s and 30s and 40s of what has been termed as the East African revival. And it kind of brought together a divided nation along many lines, and it was a beautiful thing that happened. And that affected many of our parents. There was genuine faith, there was confession, and people started meeting apart from Sundays. They started having meetings midweek, and there were special meetings for people that had come to the Lord in the Anglican faith. And that affected my dad, who was a Catholic, and ended up trusting the Lord and went to an Anglican seminary. And so I'm born, and we're at church, and we were moved from one church to another in the remote areas of the southwestern part of Uganda. And so with my brothers, I am the sixth born out of 9. And so we just grew together at church. And I saw my dad and my mom serve together. My dad preached the gospel, and through his ministry, I got to know about the Bible, about God. and actually started serving in some way with the youth ministry. When I was in high school, in 2004, when I reached in this school, I was asked to be part of the leadership of a Christian Union club. And I think the reason was I just loved to be around Christians, people who just loved the Lord. And I loved singing the songs. And I had some knowledge about the Bible from listening to my father. And so they asked me to be one of the leaders. And in 2004, the weekend of 18th, 19th, and 20th June, we organized a conference and invited other schools from neighboring towns to come for a Scripture Union conference. And that evening of Friday 18th, the first speaker preached the gospel. And before he finished his sermon, I knew I did not know Christ. I had never really understood the idea of 1 Corinthians 15, how Christ came and died for our sins, died in our place according to the Scriptures, and buried and rose again. I never understood, I had never come to really understand the salvation by grace alone through faith. That clicked that evening, and I was worried, I was shaking, and I wanted to know how I could know the Lord. And from that time, I had many, many questions. How could I be lost when I thought I was near where God was in some way? But I didn't realize that I was just religious. Now, from that time, I went to another school, and I was asked to be a leader in the Christian Union of that school as well. And as I served, there was a brother who looked at me, and he kind of was my Aquila and Priscilla. He realized there is something missing. He does not know much about this faith. And he helped me and led me to his brother's house. And this brother was working with the Emmaus correspondence school. They used to go to schools and take verses, and students would fill them, and then they would mark them. And so I end up there and learn more about the Lord. And so that's where my discipleship started. I had so many questions, and they helped me get down south to Zambia for 10 months and got some training, basic training in the Bible. I came back, went to the university, and while I was at university, they called me back to that fellowship, and they told me, we have a group of people coming from Kampala. They are coming to be ministering to us this week. Would you please come and translate from English to our local language? And I came. That was 2010, and one of the ladies in that group is my wife. I'm still interpreting for her since then. Now, when I got born again, when I finally could understand a few things about the Bible and how we get to know Christ, I had one problem. 85% of the people in Uganda would say are Christians. We're a Christian nation. And I thought I was, but I did not know Christ. And so the problem I had, and the passion was, how could I have been lost? And many other people, many other young people out there, 75% of our population is below the age of 30 years. Many young men and women like me are lost, and they have no idea that they are lost. And so I wanted to be someone that would at least reach out to one person or two. Hopefully they would come to see the light that I saw. That was deep in my heart. I wanted to have someone see and touch what I touched. And when I ended up in Kampala after my university and got married, we ended up in this community, just a few miles, 6 miles from the heart of the city and less than a mile from the border of Kampala city, our capital. We ended up in this place. The way I ended up there, I was looking for a house. We lived not far from the main university in Kampala. And so I was looking for a house, and I met an old man, and I asked him, are there any houses around here to rent? And he looked at me and said, young man, why are you looking for a house to rent in this area? It is expensive because of the university and the students around. You should go to a place like Nansana, and you will find a house that you will manage. I had no idea where Nansana was. I jumped on a public taxi and ended up in this community. I found a house, and my wife at that time was not with me. She had given birth, and she was at her grandmother's place. And when she came back, we were in that community. And so the desire, yeah.
What's the population? What's the population in
Nansana is a highly populated area. It is the fastest growing area around Kampala. I think we're over 400,000 people there. Yeah. So we get here, and whatever I was doing, I made sure I shared Christ with someone. My wife, when she came to know Christ, the lady that led her to Christ loved children, and so she ended up working with children. And so when we came to this area, she visited a few neighbors and asked them, would you give me your children? And on Saturday evenings, I would teach them a Bible lesson, and we shared it together. And so in 2014, in this area, I started moving out, just sharing Christ whenever I would have some time. And then my wife would just have children over on Saturday evenings and teach them, and after they share some tea. And as time went by, we were a few people that started meeting together after the kids' meeting. And we started doing the book of John, looking at the main events. In a short time, we had people coming to our house. And so this is our first home meeting in 2014. I don't know whether the British brought the tea thing in our place. So there is our tea. We're in our house. We started sharing the Lord's word. The group kind of grew, and we were not sure what we were doing. I thought people would know Christ, and they would know the truth, and the truth would set them free. But we kept the group kept together. I tried to go to Rwanda whenever I encountered to work there. It looked like I was running away from a group of people. And I came back, Maggie with the children. And later on, we started moving out with a few other people. And this home fellowship goes on for 1.5 years. In 2015, in March, we were not sure what we were going to do. We had become a group of people, and the church we were going to was far in Kampala. And so we decided, do we need to start meeting on Sunday mornings? And Maggie, my wife, said, are you sure, Alan, we are getting into this? And I said, I am not sure. I don't know what we are getting into. But it looks like there is a family here, and people have been baptized. What do we do? And so we rented a hall in a community hotel and invited the community. Many people, we came on the 1st of March and preached the gospel. And the church started meeting on the Lord's Day. And after the big meeting, now we really started meeting, a few of us, in the smaller hall of that hotel. We have been in this hotel for quite a while. The church continued to grow. We're really a young church because of where the country is now. The Lord has sent to us many children. At this time, parents would just come, drop the children, and say bye to me. Interestingly, some of the parents who dropped their kids are now meeting with us. And then in August, the August 15th last year, we could no longer meet in that hotel, and so the church moved from there to my house. My landlord was Muslim, and when he knew, he asked me, please move the church out of my house. And we started looking for another place. When we got another place for the church, and we knew the church was moving, that week he told me as well, you need to move out. I'm not sure whether the church will move out if you are staying there. And so we moved out. Children. And so we rented a smaller house and removed walls inside and created some space for meeting. The children are still meeting outside. When it is raining, they're meeting with us. And now they are outside doing their classes. We took this picture the Sunday that I was coming on Wednesday. So this is our current place of worship. We've been working on the inside and the outside. This is a group of couples that I'm hoping they're in a leadership already. But we have not really made it official as the team of elders. But these are the men and their wives that I serve with. Me and my wife Maggie and Prince and Heidi. They have been meeting with us, I think, since the beginning of this year. I think around February. We have Judah and Sandra and Peter and Kathy. And so this is the composition of our leadership team. We are a young church, young couples. We don't know many things. Maybe we don't know even a few things. And so we get together and learn as couples. This is my family. Nila, 5. Neil, 3. And Sherry, 1. And my wife, Maggie. She has risked her neck for us. We do parenting classes. We're doing shepherding a child's heart. So many new things that we are learning because of how our culture has shaped family. And this is the group we're doing. The brother on the right and the left were visiting. The three couples in the middle, we do some counseling, biblical counseling, which is really discipleship, together equipping us. Hayden and Prince are helping us to be able to minister to the church as well. Some of the couples we have in church, and yes, so that is what is happening in Nansana. Any questions?
Me again. Why is the population so young?
I think because of many reasons. One, because of the wars that we have been involved in the past, the diseases that were in the past. AIDS took away so many people, including my wife's parents. And when the medication started being available, the generation that was coming was able to to live a little longer. And so our parents, many suffered through the wars and died. And then the diseases that were killing many people, which we have some medication for today. Yeah. And maybe on the religious surface of Uganda, we really, apart from the mainstream religions, we Anglican, Catholic, Muslims, and all these groups that have been there for long. The main group that is really up and strong and getting many following them is the charismatics. And it's sad, but that is what is true. When you say, I'm born again, people just think you are a Pentecostal. And the testimony that brings is not good. And the interesting thing is that when they look at a church like this, because of their big presence and effect, they think you're weird, and they are right. So thinking, is this a church or what? Church should be this. Are you born again? Are you allowing the Spirit? Or, yeah. So just wanted to mention that.
How many Bible churches are there in Uganda?
I think there are few Bible churches. There is a small church that I attended when I was at university in the southwest of the country, and the missionary that trained the elders that shepherded me lives there. It's a very small church in Kabale in Uganda, Emmaus Bible Church. I think there are a few others, but I have not seen one Bible strong church. There are Baptist churches and some other Reformed Baptist churches that have been planted, and some independent churches, but I've not seen the presence of the Bible churches in Uganda. Yeah.
Are Bibles readily available there?
He's going to speak it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Could you hear me?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Are Bibles readily available in Uganda?
Yes, they are. If you want a Bible, you can go and buy it. There is, it's translated in different languages. We have the English, the versions one, but I think they are available, but that hasn't translated into people actually having them, and so the version that young people would have would be the good news, because in schools it kind of becomes in a rule that you must have a Bible, but they are available, but many people in churches do not have them. Yeah.
You said there's quite a few Catholics. Do the Catholics not have a Bible? Do a lot of the Catholics not own a Bible?
For the Catholic Church, the people I have met in the Catholic Church, one of the men told me, "I thank God that you opened the Bible here, because for us in the Catholic Church, the priest knows the Bible and he's the one who opens it. So the Bible in the Catholic Church is not really something. The priest will do the work, and we will just enjoy the Mass and pay for it, and then we'll go." Yeah.
Yes, I came out of Catholicism here in this country, so pretty similar. The Catholic Church, the emphasis was not on the Bible, though now the Catholicism is moving now in this country towards trying to at least include the Bible somewhat so, but still the tradition of the Catholic Church trumps the Bible ultimately in this country, and that's from my personal experience.
And I think it's all over the world. Yeah, the Bible. They sometimes they get a few things and put them in their prayer thing, but it's all mixed up.
Wow. Are the younger people? Are there a lot of, you said most of them are younger people. The younger people, are still a lot of younger people that are Catholics? Is it the older people that are Catholics, or is it just a lot?
The Catholic Church has the biggest population in Uganda.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So they are strong. There are many. I think they're followed by the Anglicans, and
Yeah. Is there a lot of poverty in Uganda?
Yes. We have some. The Lord has blessed us with so many resources, but the gap between the rich and the poor is indescribable. And so whatever we have doesn't translate, does not trickle down to the common man that I am ministering to.
Does the government give you any problems with your church, or is there any kind of persecution from the government or from the people around within the country as far as wanting to worship and be a true believer?
No, we had a time of persecution with the President Amin coming into power, and the people. It was really hard time, and it ended with, the Archbishop of the Anglican Church being shot by the president himself. That time was really hard for the Christians. We are in a time of freedom as the church, and so when the president came in, when he came in 1986, he gave the country freedom of worship, and so we can worship, we can do whatever we want. The problem with that is it has made to the growth of different weird things because of the freedom. And so, whereas in the persecution, people were standing, faith was genuine. Now we're in freedom, and so.
What would be the monthly income of the people, the common man in Uganda?
That's difficult to answer, but I'll give an example myself. The first job I got when I was out of university, I was asked to work in a supermarket. I was going to sell some products, and I was paid $60 a month.
$60 a month.
Yes. That $60 a month could not be enough for my transport from my home to the workplace. So it couldn't work. So I asked, could I have the products in my home area and sell them instead of having to come because I'll spend. And so you're at the mercy of someone employing you. And so many young people, you'd have $50 a month.
$50 a month.
The common, the us in Nasana, that would be.
So what would be considered a good income among just the common man?
I think someone who makes around $300 a month.
$300 a month
would be a big boy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they would be able to take care of a few things.
What industry would provide that type of salary? Manufacturing or?
I think most of it is really business. When people kind of break into business and they can bring stuff in and sell, and so the business, the government, people who work with the government, and in their different sectors, and so yes, but I think business, because of it being a city, if you make your way through it, and you can make some money.
This may seem like an obvious question, but how does that impact your ability to do ministry at Nansana Bible Church? You know, I assume that those who attend give something.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's rather limited.
Yeah, it is. I think the effect of that is we are limited in what we can do. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you have the children studying like this, they're going to be limited. I mean, the teachers, as you start teaching, it is raining, and so you run away. And so that makes what you can do. I was at a camp, I think last week, and I saw how the children were getting together and memorizing scripture and being taught. And there is a lot of planning in that. There is a lot of resources put in that, which is difficult for us to say we are going to be intentional. And there are things we can do in our means, but I think we're limited in what it limits us in how we can reach out to the community and the people in church. Yeah.
So do you have any current needs with your current building and situation?
Come again?
Do you have any current needs with your current building and your situation?
The place, this place that we are meeting at, we will. It won't be enough. It accommodates around maybe 60 people, and we mean the way we sit, you know. And so this is not going to be a place that will be at for many years. And so I think if the church got a place where we can have some space, take care of the children, and the church can meet there. Maybe at the moment, the children getting maybe a tent, and being able to have some sort of shelter, and their chairs, and they can learn better. And so, I think with the future plan to have some land where we can have the church activities, but now to have, especially the children having somewhere to meet and to finish working on our building, because we just did the inside and we have not worked on the toilet, we've not worked on the outside, and yeah.
So do you have a tent now?
For the children, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, not yet. And we think if in the way the church is growing, the rate at which it is growing, By the end of next year, probably the church will shift to a tent, and then the children will be meeting in
Okay.
here. So, yeah, because we will not be fitting in there.
Any other questions? Right, let's pray, and we'll take a break, and then we'll come back for our second part of our service.